we have a planning meeting at the end of the year where we try to come up with 3 things that we want to focus on for the year. 3 things that are going to be important to us for the year, that we're going to try to look at all year long and hold ourselves accountable for. So we do that. We do that every year, and this year was no different. So through that planning meeting, after a lot of talking, figuring out what our strengths were, figuring out where we can improve, we decided we were going to focus on 3 things for the year. Yeah, okay, make sure I'm not going to mess up. 3 things. Number 1 is revenue growth. We need to grow revenue. You know, we are very aggressive. We want to double our sales in about the next 3.5 years. So if we don't grow revenue, that's not going to happen. So revenue growth. So that's, you know, paying extra attention certainly to our customers, working some major deals with the Ferguson Enterprises. Wendy and Matt yesterday were at Menards, who's our 2nd or our 3rd largest customer, trying to talk to them about ways that we can do more for them. You know, we were talking to the Ferguson Enterprises people last week. They're one of our top customers, and they were saying, hey, do you guys have that sanitary roof hydrant yet? I go, no, we're working on it, probably 3rd quarter. They go, hey, just so you know, we bought about $700,000 of those from your competitor last year. We'd love to buy those from you. So it's stuff like that. It's like, yeah. So that's revenue growth that we're working on every day. So Matt and his team, they're the ones directly responsible for it, but we're all responsible for it. You know, we're all responsible for growing revenue. Yes, Matt?
We made goal for the month.
We made goal for the month. We still got half a day of shipping left. So that's the key. Those are the keys to revenue growth. But you know what? Without some of these other things, we're not going to do any good in revenue growth. And the first thing is quality improvements. Now, we always talk about quality. Quality of our product is the star of our show. Everybody can say that. I can say that. But one of the things that I want to get down through the business is, hey, what happens if I make a bad solder joint? Yeah, it might not pass the test, but what if it gets out? How does that affect our customer? How does that affect the plumber who puts it in? How does that affect me if it's on my house? So we're going to do some training throughout the year that actually tells you what happens when either of those things go wrong. So if something goes wrong, yeah, that stinks, and we might or might not catch it in testing, but we want you to know deep in your soul how the quality affects everybody through the supply chain. The Menards people, the plumbers, the wholesalers, the end users, the people that have it on their house. So that's what we're going to focus on, quality. And then, of course, people and preparing people. We talked about revenue growth at the top, how we want to double our sales in the next 3.5 years. So if we're twice as big, how many more people are going to be in this room? A lot more. Hopefully not twice as many, but a lot more. But then the idea is, we double our sales, we're going to need more people probably in customer service. We might need more people in quality. We might need more people in shipping. We might need more people. We might need people helping Chris and Latasha in production control. Who are the best people that are going to take those jobs? Us? The guys that are already here, that know what we mean, that know what we stand for, that know about our mission statement, that know that we want to share our profits? We're the best people to do that. Now, you know what? Greg might be purposely happy in his job, and he might never want to do anything else. That's fine. But Karen might say, I think I want to get in manufacturing. So we're gonna put together some information that says we think as we grow, we have all these available jobs that are going to come on, and Karen might say, I want that job. And we might say, Karen, we think you'd be great at that job, but you need an APIC certification, or you might need to go back to school, or whatever it might be. So we're going to have those jobs. That doesn't mean Karen's going to 100% get that job, but our mission statement says that we need all of our associates to become all they're meant to be, defined by them. And if Karen thinks she wants to be a production control person, we need to do what we can to help Karen get there. Now, there's no guarantee that Karen's going to get that job, but we can put her in a position to get a better education, to be more prepared for that role, so she can try to get that job. And you know what? If she doesn't get that job, or maybe she doesn't want to be at Pryor anymore, she's going to be better prepared to go elsewhere and make herself better. So those are the 3 things we're going to focus on. You're going to hear us talk about those 3 things all year long. literally all year long. We're going to have a lunch and learn in April. We're going to get into some of this in more detail. We're going to have those jobs that we talked about. We're going to have job descriptions. If you think, hey, I might want that one, then it'll be talk to your manager. Talk to your manager. We'll help you figure out how that can happen.
Remember as people, as individuals, you might know better than us what you need and or want. So tell us. We want to help you get there. Okay? Keep that in mind. As you all know, we reimburse college courses, college degrees. So if somebody's interested in that, speak up. So don't wait for us to ask you. You know what you might want. Talk to us. We'll help you. That's what we're all about.
I'm finished. I'm going to turn it over to Jeff.
Yes.
Yeah, there we go.
All right.
All right, we've got a fun afternoon for you guys, I promise. We're going to share some stuff. You're going to leave here hopefully pretty energized. Nick, Brady, Joe has already helped with that this morning and this week by sharing some profits. So this should be a good day. You guys should have a lot of fun. So, I was thinking back, what happened a few weeks ago? Does anybody remember what happened? Roger?
I know what happened. Are we talking about the Chiefs?
Yes!
Yeah!
The Chiefs won the Super Bowl, and it was pretty amazing. 50 years in the making. And it doesn't matter if you're a fan or not. There's Cowboy fans.
Don't acknowledge me.
I can't even get it out. But I think that no matter what kind of fan you are, I think if you look at what the Chiefs did, it kind of boiled down to three things that were pretty amazing. The first thing was Clark Hunt and Andy Reid worked on getting the right people on the team. And there were changes, some dramatic changes, on the defensive side, and Spags coming in that made for better. Eric Berry left, we got Frank Clark, we got a lot going on. The second thing that I think was I noticed they played with a different kind of attitude. I noticed when the guys were feeling down and out that you saw teammates running up and down the sideline saying, "We're in this. We're still in this. We got this. Let's stay with it." And they didn't really tolerate mediocrity. They kept making each other better. And then the third thing I think is that they each played with purpose, and they wanted to win that Lamar Hunt Trophy. They really wanted that trophy. They wanted to bring that Lombardi Trophy back to Kansas City. And they also wanted to do one for Reed, and they wanted to do one for Kansas City. And I think it doesn't matter who you root for. I think if you boil it down to that, those are probably the three key things that happened. So like the Chiefs, I think, I haven't been here that long, but I think Pryor's been working on that same thing, working on a winning season, getting the right teams in place, getting the right training, getting more focus on quality. Focusing on a great atmosphere to get work done. We're pretty privileged here to have a company with a good culture. And then beyond all the great products that we make, I think it's also about helping people in Kansas City. Not too many companies do that kind of thing. They might throw some change, at some charities, but that doesn't happen all the time. The other thing is I think we're helping people around the world. If I'm not mistaken, Joe, that we've got some of our our hydrants and pumps and that in third world countries, so people that might not have clean water are getting clean water. That's pretty cool. So we're going to talk a little bit more about that and make sure customers know about that in the coming year. But as we thought about some of we talked about company goals. For marketing, our goals are to create more distance from our competitors. And we also want to elevate the areas of Pryor that are unique to us, because there's a lot of uniqueness there. We also want to infuse more humanity and emotion into what we do. There's something special here. So that's some things that we're working on. And then as we couldn't just come up with this without doing a little bit of research. So we had a lot of in-depth discussions with the leadership team, discussions with different departments. We've talked with reps and contractors and distributors really to get our head around, what makes Pryor unique. We kind of know what it is, but we want to understand from what their perspective is. We looked real hard at the competition. We have competition on the residential side and the commercial side. We spent a great deal of time looking at the competitors. And then we looked at current marketing efforts and where we thought there were room for improvement. So this is a long list. We almost couldn't even fit it here. But if you think about all the things that make Pryor unique compared to our competitors and why that would matter to some of our customers, you know, we're not all things to all people. We kind of focus. We kind of found our niche. We're not trying to create something that we don't know how to do. You know, we're pretty focused. We have people here who are wired to serve and make it easy for the customer, no matter what kind of role you're in. You get live support. You know, not all companies give you that. There's no minimum orders or fees. We don't nickel and dime customers. We're not a mass custom. We're a mass custom shop. That means that if you need one hydrant 20 feet long, or if you need 1,000 hydrants, we've got it covered. We can do any of that. That means we can do any size order. We're right here in the center of the U.S. We can ship coast to coast in a day. We get things out the door in 8 hours, which is pretty amazing. We're independent, family owned. Not every company can say that. That means you're not going to get treated like a number and get lost in the shuffle. We kind of have this entrepreneurial spirit. You know, I love, you know, hearing Roger running through saying, man, we hit it, man, we hit it. I love walking through the plant and watching everybody working hard. And it's like we're always trying to invent stuff and be entrepreneurs. We've got this attention to detail, you know, so that our products last a long time. Not all products last that long. We've got engineers on staff, code-approved products, experts on call. You know, it gives our customers peace of mind. So those are pretty special. There's way more than this. This is just kind of the tip of the iceberg. So then we had to figure out how are we going to break through all of this stuff? How are we going to get people's attention? And that's what we've been working on. That's where we're going to share some of the things going on in marketing and that you're going to see very soon. And the good news is some of you are part of it because we, as Nick was saying, you know, the people here are really important. And so we feel like it's time to start bringing some of that forward. So from a position statement, if you look this up in Webster or, you know, Google it, you're going to see some sort of thing like this. It's basically we're trying to plant an image in people's heads so that when they think of Pryor, this is what they think of. And some people already think of this. Some are kind of neutral. Some don't know what to think. So we want to make sure we keep pounding in their head, this is what we stand for. And what that looks like is...
Hey. Whoa, that's what I'm talking about. Oh yeah. All the good-looking people.
Where are you at, Joe?
I didn't make the cut.
So I don't know if sound's coming through or not. But. So anyway, you know, you're going to see this phrase quite a bit, this idea of build with purpose. And if you think about what Pryor does, I mean, it's very purposeful. We make products that where you don't have to have multiple SKUs. You can turn a hydrant sideways if you need it, horizontal or vertical. You know, we try to remove all those hassles for the customer, and we build products that last. And the biggest thing is we make an impact, which is pretty cool. So that's kind of what we're trying to drill into people's heads, is this idea. You may not see these words verbatim, but that's kind of the idea of what we're trying to do. So as we roll this out, this is some of the things you're going to start seeing soon, very soon, and we want you to see it first, just because it's all rolling out. So we're refreshing our brand, giving it a little bit of an oomph. One of the big things is technology. So our spec forms, we're needing updates, so we've been working on that for the last couple of months. Master spec is used in the commercial space, and what we heard from engineers is you're not on master spec. You know, I'd spec your products, but you're not there. So, well, the good news is we're on master spec, and very soon, in a matter of weeks, engineers are going to be able to spec our products way easier. So that means commercial is going to start growing even more. We're going to do more personalized marketing. We're going to have some rep portals. You're going to see a new website soon. So I'd encourage each of you to follow Pryor on all the social channels. That's a good way just to kind of see what's going on. It's a good place for news and updates. See your photos. The other thing is we get a lot of positive stories in the media. So I haven't counted, but I think since I've been here, we've been in the media at least once per month, sometimes more. This is a trade industry media article about our small valves. This is an article that came out about 2 weeks ago. Nick's in here, Scott Brady's in here. We're talking about trends. We have a customer in there too, which is kind of cool. So you'll see more of that. And then the cool thing is, we're going to start having some people, some of that human aspect to what we do. So we've got Kevin, Magali, we've got Dre, Hebe, and Maurice. So you're going to start seeing some of that human element coming out. We think it's kind of cool people work here, so we're going to bring that to life. Catalog is at the printer. It's going to be mailing here in about 2 weeks. It's got a fresh design. Brittany's been working hard on that for, gosh, the past month or so. So it's we think, as we each think about removing hassles, she spent a lot of time thinking, how do I make it easier for people to order stuff from us? So in the front of this catalog, it tells you how to order things. It makes it easier. So that's kind of that idea of removing hassles. We got trade show displays, and we might even put some cards in products and feature people. We haven't got to that point yet, but that's kind of on its way. So anyway, a lot of exciting stuff going on, a lot of new stuff coming out. There'll be more. We'll probably talk to some of you. Roger wants his photo taken, so we'll see if we can make that happen. But so from a messaging standpoint, I think it's kind of like a choir. You guys have heard the symphony. When everybody's playing in the same tune, they might not have the same instrument, but when they're all playing together, it sounds great. So if we're all kind of got the same mentality, we're talking about prayer the same way, we all got it in our heads, that we build with purpose, we build removing hassles, build products that last, make an impact. It's like compounded interest. Nick and Joe sat down with you and talked about, saving, why that's important. It's just like you keep beating this into people's heads, and they start telling their friends, and engineers tell customers, and so there's a compounded interest factor to it. So next up, we've got some exciting stuff for you planned. So we wanted to bring in someone who lives with a purpose, who embodies the mission of serving. We wanted to go big. Nick said, got to go big. I said, like, how big? He said, like, Super Bowl big. Jeez. So we wanted someone who was tougher than Kelsey, more sought after than Mahomes. In fact, this person had to have at least 350 appearances per year. It's probably more like 500 now. Traveling the world, every continent, I'm sure. This person had to suit up every day and had to be with the Chiefs for more than 30 years. And we're pretty blessed today to have Dan Mears, Casey Wolf with us. In 2006, he was the first NFL mascot inducted to the Mascot Hall of Fame. Woo! He is a true champion on and off the field. I've known him for several years. He's a great guy. I love being around him. I love the very brief moments we get to talk. And Dan always says that old mascots never die, they just kind of smell like they did. And so I think the best way to introduce him is through this. So give me 1 second to change slides here. And hopefully the sound is going to work okay.
Whoa. That's impressive. That's fun. That's could be bad.
Oh, right. It's gonna be a blast.
I thought that was gonna fill out of the
Yeah.
tree. Oh, there's Cowboys there. See that?
Yeah, get rid of those Raiders.
Oh, yeah. Reese got a little wet on that one.
Yeah.
All right. You know the best thing about that? They pay me to do that.
Nice.
Well, it is good to be with you guys today. I don't know if you knew this or not, but my team won the Super Bowl. Hey, there's a Cowboy fan here somewhere. Yeah, put you on my prayer list.
What happened?
There we go. Well, it is good to be with you guys today. You know, as you said, my name is Dan Mears. I live here in Kansas City. Here in Kansas City, I'm kind of known as the guy that's got a strange occupation. Okay, I'm a mascot. Now, when you're a mascot, it's kind of funny. There's 3 questions people always ask. As soon as they find out what you do, they always ask the same 3 questions. Number 1, and this is how they say it, is that your real job? Yeah, that's my real job, believe it or not. You know, I support my family acting like a nut in a costume. Okay, that's a pretty good gig if you can get it. Number 2, is it hot in the costume? Yes, it is. I think you guys know this. Mascots, we use a cologne. It's called Febreze. You can get it at Walmart. We use a lot of this. And then the other question that I always hear is, how did you get into that line of work? You know, how did you become a mascot? Well, some of you know, I got my start back in college. I dressed up in a tiger suit at the University of Missouri. Yesterday I spoke in Kansas. That is not the response. But if you guys know, I was Truman the Tiger, did that for about 4 years, and then I graduated, and that made Mom and Dad real happy. You probably know this. All the smart kids graduate magna cum laude. I graduated thank laude. So, I graduate, Mom and Dad are excited. They're like, son, we're proud, but you've got to get a job. So if you know, the first job I got after 4 years of college, went out, got my first job working in professional baseball. I dressed up in a bird suit for the St. Louis Cardinals. Check out the bird legs on that bird right there. Okay, now, if you look at that picture, you can tell 2 things. Number 1, that was a long time ago. That's before I put gray highlights in my hair. And the other thing you can tell, the guy that was the bird before me was a short guy. You see, I'm pretty tall. That meant his feathers covered up a lot more than my feathers. So I'm running around St. Louis like a bird. I get a call from the Kansas City Chiefs. They wanted to know if I'd be this guy, KC Wolf, and I thought, you know, I bet I'll look better going to work in gray fur than cute yellow tights each day. Plus, if you know, in baseball, they play 81 home games in the summer. Professional football, we play 10 during the fall and the winter. Now, I'm not the brightest guy in the world, but I knew that was a good switch to make. So I came to Kansas City. I've been with the Chiefs. I just finished my 30th season with the Chiefs. I know you're all out there thinking that's a long time to avoid a real job. But I love what I do. You know, people always ask what's the best thing about being a mascot. Well, number 1, I get paid that goofy, which is nice. Used to get in trouble for that in school, and I get a paycheck for it. So there's hope for some of your kids. Number 2, I tell people I go to work each day in a suit and a tail instead of a suit with a tie. I don't have to get dressed up. Number 3, I get to meet all the Chiefs players, get to know those guys, which is interesting. And number 4, I get to hug all the Chiefs cheerleaders. Yeah, but I don't do that near as much because about, 26 years ago, this wolf got married to a fox. And the fox didn't like me, but I didn't care. As a matter of fact, I got a picture of my wife. You guys want to see her?
Yeah.
Here's a picture of her. There she is. That's my trophy wife right there. If you can tell we've been married a while, we're starting to look alike. I got a better picture of me and my family. That's me on steroids. That's me back off steroids. But my wife's in the red. I've got 3 great kids. My oldest, the one in the green, she just graduated from college. I've got one off the table. I don't know if you're excited about that. I'm thrilled about that. The other 2 are in college, and they're really expensive right now. But I love being a dad. All 3 of my kids got to bring me in for show and tell back in kindergarten. I even got to trick or treat with my kids too about 15 years ago. I bet you guys can guess what I dressed up like. I was a wolf. You know what my kids were? 3 little pigs. Had a good time too. But you know, I love what I do. Being a mascot, it's a lot of fun. But, you know, I once read this, that if you ask a man his occupation, all you do is you find out how he pays his bills, right? But if you ask a man his preoccupation, then you'll discover the passion of his life. Now, my occupation's mascot. I pay my bills running around in that costume. But my preoccupation, what I am truly passionate about in this life, I tell people it's simply 3 things. And that is my faith, number 1, my family, and using my life to make a positive impact in this world that I live in. You know, I get the opportunity, I do a lot of speaking. I speak all over the country, do a lot of speaking on leadership. And I'll tell you my favorite quote on leadership. It's from a guy named John Maxwell. John Maxwell once said that leadership, it's not about titles, positions, or flow charts. Leadership, it's about one life influencing another. And honestly, that's what I'm passionate about, is encouraging others to live a life of influence in their homes, their workplaces, their communities, this world that we live in together. And, you know, as I was thinking about what I wanted to share today, I thought about this quote. It's on my desk at Arrowhead Stadium. And it says this. It says, "Your life is like a coin. You can spend it any way you wish, but you're only going to spend it one time, so spend it wisely." And, you know, I love that quote because that quote reminds me every day that I get to make choices, right? Every day I get to choose how I'm going to live my life. You know, I'm the one that's going to decide today how I spend my coin. And you know, the older I get, and I am getting older, I hate to admit that, but I turned 50 a couple years ago, so you know what that means. Got my first colonoscopy. That's more than you wanted to know about me today. But you know what? The older I get, the more I realize that how you choose to spend your coin every day is very important because the choices we make each day, big choices, even the small ones, those just add up over time. And at the end of your life, when you look back at your life story, that's who you are, it's who you've become, it's the impact, it's the influence you've had with your life. It's going to be determined by the choices you made along the way. And I remember when my kids were in elementary school, there used to be a poster at the school. Whenever I'd see the poster, it always reminded me that even the small choices I make every day really are important. Because here's what the poster said. I think some of you have probably heard this before. But it said, guard your thoughts because they become your words. Guard your words, they become your actions. Guard your actions, they become your habits. Guard your habits, they become your character. Guard your character because it becomes your destiny. You know, those choices we make every day ultimately will determine our character and our destiny. You know, I tell that to young people all the time. when I go speak at schools. I always tell them, and I think you know this, your destiny in life is not determined by chance, okay? Your destiny is determined by choice. The choices that you make every day, that's what's going to write your life story. And when you think about it, all of us here, we're all writing a life story. Every day is just another sentence. And I once read that since you're the author of your story, you're the one that gets to decide each day whether the sentence you write is going to end with a period, a question mark, or an exclamation point. And, you know, I've always tried to teach my kids, do your best to live every day so that it ends with an exclamation point. And, you know, in the short time that we have today, I want to share with you guys a little of my life story. And if I was going to be really honest, I would tell you the chapter of my story that I'm going to share today in many ways has been my least favorite, okay, because it has been the most difficult, been by far the most painful. But the reason I'm going to share it is in other ways I see this as one of the great chapters of my story, because through this chapter I've learned some incredibly valuable life lessons. But the chapter that I want to share begins on November the 23rd of 2013. Okay, I tell people I will always remember that day, because on that day, I literally came within inches of losing my life. Now, thankfully, instead of losing my life, I spent 9 days in a hospital, and I got some big scars. And I had a man tell me once, scars are just tattoos that come with a cool story. Right? Well, today, I'm not going to show my scars. If I do that, I'll never get invited back to fire, trust me. So I promise not to show off my scars, but I do want to share with you a little bit of my story. But the question I have been asked hundreds of times over the past, what's been a little over 6 years now, is what happened to you? You know, how did you get hurt? And the best way to answer that is by telling you that Casey Wolf got to go for his very first bungee jump. And let's just say things didn't turn out very well for me, okay? You see, I'm not only an NFL mascot, I'm also a failed bungee jump survivor, and there's not a lot of guys get to say that. That's kind of a small niche I've created for myself at this point. But today I'm going to share with you what happened to me, but more importantly than that, I want to share with you all the greatest lessons I've learned since that day. But November the 23rd, 2013 was a Saturday. I woke up bright early that morning, drove to a little town up in northern Missouri called Chillicothe. I don't know if you've heard of Chillicothe, Missouri. Went up there for their holiday parade. So Casey Wolf was there, Santa Claus was there, and a whole bunch of horses were there. And every horse in Chillicothe ate a whole bunch of fiber the day before this parade. But after I get through this parade, I get back in my car, I drive back here to Kansas City to Arrowhead Stadium, where I was going to practice a stunt that I was going to perform the next day at the Chiefs game. We were going to play the San Diego Chargers. They're now the LA Chargers. And I was going to bungee jump and zip line into the stadium. Now, how that works is we hire a company that comes in, they set up a zip line. The zip line attaches to the lights at the top of the stadium, stretches all the way across the football field to the lights on the other side of the stadium, and then they attach a bungee cord to that zip line. Okay, sounds safe, right? Well, my wife said too. But now, I know that's kind of hard to understand, so I'm going to show you a short video. Don't get nervous. This is not me getting hurt. But this will give you a good idea of what I was doing the day I did get hurt. Now, that's part of this video. At the end, you'll get to see what it looks like 260 feet above the football field at Arrowhead. Doesn't that look like fun?
No.
Yes.
Ooh. What takes a while to get across there too, don't it?
It does. And here's what it looks like from up top.
That would be a blast.
That's cool.
The 50, the 40, the 30.
I love watching your faces, by the way. So, there's always about two guys out there smiling, thinking, wow, that looks cool. And everybody else is always looking at me thinking, wow, that guy's an idiot. But the plan is for me to dress up in my costume. I'm supposed to jump out of the lights at the top of our stadium. That day I was supposed to fall for about 20 feet. The bungee cord was supposed to catch me, bounce me up, and then I was going to zip line out over the field like you just watched. Okay, so it was going to be one of the greatest mascot entrances ever. Well, unfortunately that day things did not go as planned, because when I jumped out of the lights, because of the slack that they still had in the zip line, instead of falling 20 feet, I fell approximately 70 to 75 feet, and I hit the seats in the upper level of Arrowhead Stadium. I hit the seats so hard I knocked 2 seats out of the concrete that
Oh
day.
my God.
But after I hit, I still remember this, you guys. I guess my body went into shock. I was just shaking. I was just trembling all over, and I couldn't stop. And I was really struggling to breathe. And I'll be honest, I was scared. All I wanted to do was get down. Well, unfortunately, if your bungee cord is attached to a zip line, there's no way to get down halfway through the ride, okay? It's like a roller coaster. So if you go to a theme park, get on a roller coaster, you're not getting off the roller coaster until the ride comes to a stop. Well, the same was true for me that day. I jumped out of the lights. I felt like hit the seats. At that point, the bungee cord then pulls me back up, and then I started to zip line out over our football field like you just watched. Now, I wish I had time today to share with you all the details of what happened to me that day and how I can look back on this. And trust me, I have thought about this so many times since it's happened to me. But the fact that I'm still here, the fact that I get to stand up here right now and I get to tell you my story makes me really, really grateful, okay? And I'm just going to warn you, sometimes in life when you're really grateful for something like still being alive, you know what will happen? Sometimes it makes your eyes water, okay? And that's a good thing. Because somebody told me if your eyes don't water, your head will swell. Think about that. See my eyes water, so don't get a big head like some of the players I've heard with that. But I got to make a long story shorter today. So I'll tell you, I got to do something that was never on my bucket list. I got to ride really fast in the back of an ambulance. Okay, it took me straight to Center Point Hospital in Independence. And as soon as I get there, there's all these doctors and nurses. They start doing CAT scans and X-rays, and they're checking me out from head to toe and inside out. And here's what they found. They discovered I'd broken 7 ribs on my left side, and I'd also collapsed my left lung. That's why I was struggling to breathe, as my left lung had collapsed. Now, I don't know if you've ever collapsed a lung. How they fix that, they give you a chest tube, okay? And I don't know if you've ever had a chest tube, but don't put those things on your bucket list either. Because I remember the doctor, he looked at me, he said, "Mr. Mears, it's just a small little tube. We're going to insert that into your chest cavity." And he said, "You might feel a little bit of pressure." Well, apparently that guy had never had a chest tube. It's a heck of a lot more than a little bit of pressure. You know that. But not only had I broken the 7 ribs, collapsed my left lung, they also found I had shattered my tailbone. I cracked my sacrum. That's the bone that your tailbone attaches to. I got a big gash on the back of my left leg here that required stitches. And I got several units of blood because I'd lost a lot of blood after I'd hit the seats. But then my worst injury, they discovered I'd broken the T12 vertebrae in my back. And the next day I had surgery. They gave me these new titanium rods. That's a picture of what my back looks like. Those rods are what stabilize that part of my spine. They also gave me 8 of these. I don't know if you can see them in the X-ray. These are the screws that hold my titanium rods in place. Now, if you look close, that looks like something you can pick up over at the hardware store. These are a little more expensive than the ones they sell at the hardware store, I found out. But here's what I remember most about that night of November the 23rd of 2013. Here's a picture of what I looked like. And I know you think you don't look very good. Well, I didn't feel very good that night either. But here's what I remember most. The doctor came into this hospital room, told me all my injuries, explained to me that I was going to have surgery the next morning. He's walking out of that room, gets to the door. He turned around and he looked at me, and I'll never ever forget his words. He said, "Mr. Mears," he said, "I hope you realize tonight that you're a lucky man." He said, "If you fell 75 feet, he said, number 1, you're lucky to still be alive. He said, number 2, you're very lucky you're not paralyzed right now." And you know, that night in that hospital bed, I thought a lot about what that doctor said. You know, thought about my life. You know, I thought a whole lot about how I was choosing to spend my coin each and every day. And today I want to share with you what I consider 3 of the greatest lessons I've learned since that night in that hospital bed, okay? And these are 3 lessons I am committed to living my life by from here on out. Number 1 is this: live every day you get with character, with purpose, and with passion. Live your life with character, live it with purpose, live it with passion. I got a friend of mine, he likes to say this: we're all like a jug of milk. We all come with an expiration date. The only difference, our expiration date's not printed on us. Okay, for a while, thought my expiration date was going to be November 23rd, 2013. Thankfully, that wasn't my expiration date, or I would have missed that Super Bowl. Right? But listen, you know what I don't know? You know what? I don't know when my expiration date is. You know what I do know? Every day I get between this day right here and that day, whenever that day comes, I intend to live this life to the fullest. You know, like I said, I want to live with character, with purpose, and passion. And I challenge you to do the same. I challenge you to take every day you get and use it, live excellently. You know, use it to be a blessing in someone's life. You know, use it to make an impact in your world. I think you realize there's a lot of hurting people in this world. There's a lot of hurting people right here in our community. And every day we get the opportunity to be a blessing in the lives of others. And, you know, life's a gift. You've heard that before, right? When you just about lose your life, that's when you realize how much of a gift it is. And, you know, every day you get's important. Don't never forget that. You know, I'll share with you guys another quote. It's on my desk at Arrowhead Stadium. I read this quote every morning. It's the first thing I do when I show up at work. And the quote says this. It says, "This is the beginning of a brand new day. God has given me this day to use as I will. I can waste it or I can use it for good. But what I do on this day is important because I'm exchanging a day of my life for it. When tomorrow comes, this day is going to be gone forever, leaving in its place something that I've traded for it. I want it to be gain and not loss, good and not evil, success and not failure, in order that I shall not regret the price I paid for it." You guys, I love that quote, because that quote reminds me, once again, today's God's gift to me, right? Today I get to choose how I'm going to live my life. I'm the one that's going to decide how I spend my coin. And this day and every day I get between now and my expiration date, like I said, want to live with character, with purpose, and passion. I wish I had more time to talk about that character piece. I speak a lot on character, too. And, you know, one of my favorite football coaches, he's actually my second favorite. My favorite's Andy Reid right now. He's going to be my favorite for a long time now. But my second favorite football coach was a guy named Lou Holtz. You guys remember Lou Holtz? He used to coach at the University of Notre Dame. He used to always tell his players this, and I love this. He'd always say, there's never a right time to do the wrong thing. And there's never a wrong time to do the right thing. Think about that. Never a right time to do the wrong thing. Never a wrong time to do the right thing. If we simply put that principle into practice each day, this world would be a better place for everybody to live. So, that's the first lesson I learned. Live life with character, with purpose, and passion. Let me share with you the second lesson I learned. And this is something my mom tried to teach me in high school, and I didn't think my mother was very smart when I was in high school. Come to find out, she was a lot smarter than I was when I was in high school. But you know, my mom used to always tell me and my brothers that the most important things in life are not things. The most important things in life are relationships. You know what? My mom's a smart gal, because as I spend 9 days in that hospital bed, not one time did I think about how big my house was. Not one time did I think about how nice my car was or whether I had the latest smartphone or not. You know, for not once did I think about whether I had the latest fashion clothing. As a matter of fact, for 9 days I wore the same outfit. Okay? And it wasn't fashionable. It was well ventilated, I will say that. You guys ever seen those hospital gowns? You ever got to wear one of those? You know what they say about wearing those hospital gowns? It's kind of like owning a bad health insurance policy. You only think you're fully covered. There's a whole lot of truth to that when you're walking down a hallway. And, you know, right after my surgery, you know, they try to get you up and start walking pretty quick right afterwards, right? So I quickly figured out why they called it the ICU. Probably shouldn't have showed that picture, but you know what? You spend 9 days in a hospital bed. You get a lot of time just to lay there and think. And it was during those 9 days, I was reminded over and over and over again that the most meaningful things in my life, it's not my things, it's not my stuff. You know what helped me get through 9 days in that hospital, and then 6 months of just crazy, painful therapy, day after day after day? 3 things: my faith, my family, my friends. And you know what? All 3 of those things right there, those are all relationships, okay? My faith, that's my relationship with the Lord. Most important relationship in my life. And you know, my goal as a man every day, listen, it never changes. It's the same every single day. And that's just get up, go out, love other people. That's it. Just get up, go out and love other people. And how many of you know some people are harder to love than others? You got those people in your life? Yeah. Don't look at each other right now. But you know what? We all got those people in our life. Just love them anyway. But you know, listen, one of these days when my life story's complete, when people are standing around at my funeral, I could care less if they know I was in the Mascot Hall of Fame or not. You didn't even know there was a Mascot Hall of Fame, did you? Yeah, nobody does. You know, I could care less if they know how many years I spent running around as a mascot for the Chiefs. Because one day when my story is complete, I don't want to be remembered just for what I did. Now, how I hope to be remembered. Guys, I want to be remembered for who I was. And if the only thing that people ever say about my life is that I love the Lord and I love people, I'm good with that right there. Okay, that's how I hope to be remembered someday. But that's my faith. Secondly is my family, my wife, my kids, my parents, my in-laws. I was just blessed to have a great family to support me through that difficult time. And then finally, friends from my church, my neighborhood, my co-workers, just so many great people that would bring a meal to our house, or they stopped by and visit with me because they knew I was sitting at home bored stiff with nothing to do, and get all kinds of encouraging text messages, emails, get all kinds of cards and letters. I did bring one of my favorites I wanted to show you today. Some of you may know I speak at a lot of schools, and when I say a lot, I speak at over 100 schools a year, okay? So I hang out with kids all the time. It's why I act the way I do. But when all these elementary kids found out that K.C. Wolf got hurt, what happens? They all start making cards for you, right? Start mailing them up to the stadium. So I've got boxes and boxes of these things right here. This was one of my favorites. Came on this hot pink card right here from some little girl out in the middle of Kansas. It says, "Get well soon, K.C. Wolf. Merry Christmas and Happy Thanksgiving." They do it a little different in Kansas. But here's my favorite part of the card. On the inside it says, "Hello, K.C. Wolf. My name's Lauren Jones. You came for an assembly at my school. You probably don't remember, but I'm from Sterling Elementary. And I am so, so sorry. And you know what? You're so lucky you didn't die. That would have been sad, wouldn't it?" Merry Christmas, love. All right, there's what I love about kids. You shoot straight. It would have been sad if you'd have died, wouldn't it? But you know, cards like that reminded me my mom's a smart gal. Most important things in this life are not things. Most important things in life are relationships. And let me challenge you guys, as you decide how you're going to spend your coin every day, I challenge you to make relationships a priority. Because if you're going through a difficult time in life, trust me, it's your relationships. That's what gets you through the difficult times, okay? And even if you're not going through a difficult time, if you're here today and everything's good in your world, like it is in mine, we just won the Super Bowl. I don't know why it is. But hey, on the good days and the not so good days, it's my relationships, okay? My relationship with the Lord, with others, that right there is what gives my life meaning. That's what gives my life purpose each day. So, but that's the second lesson I learned. And let me share with you one last lesson. And I learned this in January of 2014, okay? So this is just a couple months after my bungee jump. I'm on my way to another physical therapist appointment. You guys ever been to the physical therapist? You used to call the man my physical terrorist. If you've been to one, you know why. But I'm on my way to another appointment. I'm feeling sorry for myself, okay? I don't know if you've ever lived with pain. I still live with pain. It is no fun, okay? You do not get a vacation from it. It wears you out physically, emotionally. A lot of days are discouraging. And then once in a while, you get those days and they're just flat out depressing, okay? And this is one of those days. I'm driving to another appointment, having a pity party. Those never work, by the way. And I'm listening to the radio station. This radio personality comes on, and he says this. He says, "Every morning you wake up, everybody's got something to complain about, and everybody's got something to be thankful for." He said, whichever one you choose to focus on, it's going to determine your attitude for the day. And I still remember sitting in my car, and I thought, you know what? I just learned a valuable lesson right there. I learned that, yeah, I guess I could sit and complain about my 7 broken ribs, or I can be thankful I had 17 good ones that weren't broken yet. It could always be worse, you know. I realized I could sit around and complain about my collapsed left lung that still wasn't back to normal. I wasn't sure what was going on because I couldn't see it, but something wasn't right. Or I could be thankful I had 2 lungs, my other one worked just fine. You know, I realized, yeah, I guess I could complain about all the new scars that I now have on my body, or I could be thankful if I keep my pants and shirt on like I'm supposed to. Nobody gets to see those scars. Not like I'm a Chippendale. I'm a mascot, for pity's sake. Wouldn't have had a 30-year Chippendale career. And by the way, that picture I showed earlier, that was Photoshopped. That wasn't my real body. I don't really look like that with my shirt off. You guys, that day I wanted to complain. And once again, I woke up with all this pain in my back, my tailbone, my ribs. But for the first time since my bungee jump, I actually stopped that day. And I told God thanks for my pain. And by the way, that's hard to do. Okay? I think I'm pretty good about saying thank you for my blessings. Saying thank you for pain, that's hard. But I did. I thanked him because I realized if I couldn't feel pain, I'd be dead or I'd be paralyzed. And then I thought about that. That paralysis pain. Guess what? I got the best one out of the 3. You know, Mother Teresa once said this. She said, it's okay to have pain in your life. It's not okay to be one. Like what reminds me, it's okay if I still got a pain in my rear. It's not okay for me to be a pain in your rear. Right? Probably got a few pains in your rear. Huh? Oh, look at her. I know that's what you No, yeah, we all got those people. But you know what? I tell people, I still live with this pain. And no fun, but is what it is. And I tell people I feel best when I'm active, okay? So if you come to a Chiefs game next year, you see me running around down on the field in that costume, I feel a whole lot better than if I just sit around. If I sit around, everything tightens up, everything hurts again, okay? Now, here's a bad thing about sleep. That's not a lot of activity. That's like flat on your back for 7 or 8 hours. So I mean, every morning I wake up with this pain, and every morning when my alarm rings, I realize, you know what, I get to make a choice again today. By the way, you get to make this exact same choice, but when I roll out of bed, I realize I can choose to rise and shine, or I can choose to rise and whine. And you know what? I don't want to be a whiner, because whiners don't make a positive impact in this world. Whiners do not have a positive influence in the lives of others. And so, today you've heard me talk about how your life's like a coin. Guys, you're going to spend it any way you wish, but you only get to spend it once, so spend it wisely. That reminds me of one other thing my parents taught me growing up. They'd always say that your life is like your finances. You know, you can do one of 2 things with your money. You can spend it or you can invest it. Money you spend, you're never going to see that money again. Money you invest, that's wise. That's going to multiply and return to you. When you think about it, we're going to do the same thing with our lives. You know, you're either going to spend it or you're going to invest it. A life that's just spent selfishly, that right there is wasted. A life that's invested in helping others, encouraging others, just like you do every day here at work. You know, influencing others, that right there is going to bear fruit for a long, long time. And so, my challenge to you, take your coin, be an investor. Not only with your money, but more importantly with your life too. Take your coin and invest it by living every day you get with character, with purpose and passion. Take your coin and invest it by making those relationships a priority. And finally, take your coin and invest it by learning to live like a shiner, not like a whiner. I believe we put those things into practice, our homes, our workplaces, and communities. This world's going to be a better place for everybody to live. So, let me share one more. I got 5 more minutes. I'll wrap it up here quick. You know what? One last lesson I learned after I got hurt. You guys may know this, but there's nothing good on daytime television. You know that? I was going crazy. I'd go to my physical therapist appointment, came home, I searched for something to watch. There is nothing. So what do you do if you're off work for 6 months and you don't have anything to do? Well, I decided I'd write a book. So I wrote a book called Wolves Can't Fly, since I proved it. This book's all about my career as a tiger and a bird and a wolf in places. I've been all over the world. People have got me a bunch of crazy stories. Mascots have stories. I can stand here all day and tell you crazy stories. I've walked 5 women down the aisle on their wedding day. in a costume. You know, I've been best man in 7 or 8 weddings, and I didn't even know who the groom was. With a tuxedo on. And then, last fall, I got to check another one off my bucket list. I got to be the flower girl. Got to draw petals. You got the money, I got the time. I tell you. I got 2 kids, I got to get through college. And then it tells the story about what happened to me November the 23rd, 2013, all those lessons I learned in that time. And then, a lot of the quotes you've heard me use are in this book. I tell people, whenever I go speak to a place, I always sell books. And the reason I promote books is I don't make a dime off this. All the money we make off book sales, we give it away to others. We do a lot with orphanages around the world. And I just want to close by showing you a couple quick pictures. Not that good. So, it's an orphanage in Haiti that we work with. You know, one of the greatest trips I ever took, you know, and this was right after the doctor said, you're strong enough, you're healthy enough, you can wear a costume again. I took this trip to Haiti, learned a great lesson. You know, when I was doing all that therapy and rehab, I spent all my time at home. Spend all your time at home, you live in a small world. You live in a small world, all your problems seem huge. You go to a place like Haiti, work in an orphanage where they don't have hot water, don't have air conditioning, you sleep under a mosquito net on a really uncomfortable bed each night, and all of a sudden your world gets big. You live in a big world and put your own problems in perspective in a hurry. But that's one place we donate money to. This right here is a village in the Philippines. I was excited to hear about what you guys do overseas with your because a lot of these kids were getting sick because they didn't have clean drinking water. So we went over there and helped build a well over in that community. This right here is Shop with a Cop. We donate money so underprivileged kids can buy gifts for their families at Christmas time. And this right here is the Kansas City Rescue Mission. This is a homeless shelter in downtown Kansas City. They do a toilet paper challenge each year. As you can imagine, they go through a lot of toilet paper every year. So they do this toilet paper challenge to collect toilet paper. So I'd sold a bunch of books, so I was just going to buy a bunch of toilet paper and donate it. So I did that. But then I talked to a school close to my house, and I told the principal, I'm like, hey, have all the kids bring toilet paper. Whichever class brings the most toilet paper, I'll buy pizza and we'll have a pizza party for that class. Well, I don't know if you guys knew this or not, the kids like pizza. Okay, they like it a whole lot. Between what I purchased and what they brought in, we ended up with over 16,500 rolls of toilet paper. So, yeah, they're going to be wiping a long time. And this right here, this is last year I went to India. This is a leper colony. Believe it or not, leper colonies still exist. We spend the day just loving on those people, hopefully being a blessing in their lives. Also, we help support some of the orphanages. They call them hope homes over in India. Got to have some fun in India. Got to ride a camel in the woods. Had so much fun on the camel. I rode the elephant too while I was there. And then my most recent trip got to go to Africa. We're working with a school that's starting up a feeding program. Show you my last 2 pictures. This one right here, orphanage in a girls' orphanage in the Dominican Republic. And I want to show you my favorite picture from that trip right there. Okay, I'll close with this. Promise to shut up then. You got to watch mascots. We like to talk once our heads come off. But no. Guys, I have people ask me all the time, why is a 53-year-old guy still running around in a costume for a living? You don't know the answer? That picture says it all. I want my life to make an impact. I want this world to be a better place because I was here for a short time. I want every person I meet, and I mean every person, to walk away after an encounter with me. I want them to know they're loved. I want them to know they're special. And I want them to know that somebody cares. And there's no exceptions to that. I don't care if they're young or old. I don't care if they're black or white. I don't care what their abilities or disabilities are. I don't care if they speak my language or not. What I want to know is somebody cares. You know, I meet a lot of people in my life. And I know you meet these same people that they go through life and it's almost like their buckets are empty. You know what I'm talking about? They seem discouraged, they seem depressed, they wonder, does my life matter? Does anybody really care? You know why I think that is too often in this life, we go through life and we're passionate. I mean, we get passionate about things that don't really matter. And then we're passive about those things in life that should matter. You want to be a difference maker in this world? And here's my challenge to you today. Learn to live your life for the things that truly matter. Because I'll tell you, it's a rewarding way to live life. That's why I keep doing what I do. I love football, but the reason I do it is this right here. Every day I get the opportunity to make an impact. You don't have to be a professional mascot to do that. You don't have to travel to the other side of the world to do that. You can do it right here. I don't care if you're the CEO of a company or a custodian. I don't care if you're the head coach of your team or you're just a team mascot. Every one of us gets that opportunity each and every day just by the way we choose to live our life. And so that's my challenge to you. Live your life for the things that truly matter. I've talked longer than I was supposed to probably, but hey, if anybody's interested, got books back there. If anybody wants them, they're $12, okay? Also got these pictures right here. These are free. That means they don't cost any money. You have no excuse not to take one of these. Okay? Then you keep seeing me pull a coin out of my pocket. We got these coins. One side of the coin's got a picture of K.C. Wolf. Says, "Life's like a coin, spend it wisely." On the back of the coin, it just says, "Rise and shine." So if you're interested in those are $3. So books are 12, coins are 3. We got a special today. You can get a book and a coin for 15. Just for you guys, it's been great.
That's impressive. Just to jump out of the lights and back yourself up to.
It takes a lot of talent.
Hey, another round. What a. One of the things that I give Jeff credit to bring you in here was we talk about purpose and about building with purpose, our products and each other.
Yep.
What a great example you are. We really appreciate that. I think there's a little treat in here for you.
Hey.
Red?
Well, good.
Let's see here.
I like those colors. I like those colors a whole lot.
That's the that prior emblem goes back to the 40s, maybe.
When the Chiefs won the first Super Bowl.
Yeah.
Years ago.
There you go, brother. So that's yours. I guess these other ones are his too.
Yep.
Oh my gosh, you got the mother logo.
Man.
All right, awesome. Hat,
Living right.
shirt.
Thank
All right, so we
you.
really appreciate
Let's
it.
take
And
that
I think
inventory.
there's a gift that we're giving to his charity.
Charity,
right?
yep.
Which
Thank
is
you.
also very impressive, and we
Well,
really
I
appreciate it.
appreciate that.
So again, he's here to help us kick off what we're doing. If you notice what Jeff has prepared and whatnot, with the marketing team, the sales team, we're talking about prior and living with purpose. One of the things that, if you think about our old logo or our old tagline, we say, built for life. And we said, well, it's really life of the product, that it lasts a long time, but also for life.
Yep.
And then as Jeff has done his work and dug into us, he realizes there's the purpose that we live. It goes beyond the product. It goes on making a difference in the world. We're trying to make it a difference with each other, and we're trying to make a difference in our community. And of course, each of us lives a unique life where we can make a difference. So just excellent as far as your words and what we're trying to accomplish. And we want to embrace this, Prior does, for ourselves. It starts right here, but we want to communicate and blast this out, not just through Kansas City, but through the entire United States and beyond. That's who we are as a business. You guys make a phenomenal example of how to run and do a business. We want that example to be shared with the other people in the plumbing industry, with all of our customers that we end up touching in terms of the residential and commercial buildings that we're on, but also throughout the world in a similar way like Dan has touched people throughout the world with his charities. So we're doing this, trying to do the same thing. It starts with each of us. So I applaud you and I thank you. I thank you guys for every day your choice coming here. Coming here and deciding to make a positive difference. It means the absolute world to me. See, I thought I could get there. I was so close. We love you all. We love what you do. A whole new world of NASCAR. All right, I think that's ball game.
Yes, guys. So that shirt that Dan has,
Yes.
all of you get.
Oh, sweet! I get one. Yeah, we all get one. All right, so that's smoking. No, you shouldn't smoke. But
Yeah, we're good.
that concludes it. And then the guys who were just in the profit sharing meeting that we haven't seen personally, will meet you back over in the conference room. And those that haven't had the profit sharing